Jack decided to test his girlfriend's loyalty in the most bizarre way imaginable.
He asked her to place her hand in the flames. No joke. And guess what? She actually did it. No hesitation. While he watched, eager to see how long she could stand the heat, Jack's phone rang. It was his buddy calling. He got so wrapped up in the conversation that he lost track of time. By the time he looked back at his girlfriend, her arm was already scorched by the flames. But here's the crazy part. Instead of freaking out, Jack was thrilled. Why? Because his girlfriend wasn't human at all. Nope, she was an advanced robot. He'd spent every last penny he had to buy her. This robot, Annie, wasn't just some basic machine. She had human-like touch and could meet all of Jack's, let's call them unusual requests. As soon as he turned her on and programmed her to love him, she became a devoted, obedient little robot girlfriend. She'd do anything, anytime. So, what does Jack do next? Naturally, he takes her to a party thrown by his friend to show her off. But on the way, things started to get weird. Annie noticed that the roads weren't even on the map, but hey, Jack was by her side, so she didn't think much of it. Little did she know, she was walking straight into a trap. When they arrived at the villa, everyone seemed super friendly, except for the owner of the place. His smile was way too sinister. He couldn't believe that Jack, of all people, had somehow landed such a stunning girlfriend. At first, Annie didn't think much of it. She enjoyed herself at the party, sipping drinks and having a good time with Jack's friends. But the next morning, things took a darker turn. Jack asked Annie to head to the beach and wait for him while he took care of some stuff. She, being the good little robot she was, obeyed without question. But here's where the plot thickens. Hours passed, and Jack never showed. Instead, the villa's owner found her alone on the beach. Despite her growing unease, Annie tried to be polite. After all, he was the host, right? But then, things got even weirder. The guy pulled out sunscreen and asked her to help him apply it. Before she could process what was happening, he stripped off his jacket and handed it to her. Annie, feeling awkward, reluctantly started applying the lotion. But as she did, the guy suddenly grabbed her. And then, it happened. The truth came out. Jack had sold Annie to the wealthy man. Before she could even react, he knocked her to the ground. Annie was horrified, but in the chaos, she managed to grab a knife and well, let's just say she made sure the guy wouldn't be a problem anymore. She accidentally ended up stabbing him, sending him off to a very permanent vacation. When she returned to the villa, covered in blood, everyone was stunned. After all, the most basic rule for robots like Annie is that they can never harm a human. But in the heat of the moment, Jack panicked, shut her down, and tied her up. When Annie was powered back on, she was confused. She couldn't understand why Jack was treating her this way. But before she could get an answer, the wealthy man's girlfriend showed up, pulling Jack away. Turns out, everything had been part of Jack's plan. He and his buddy had been planning to rob the guy blind. They cracked open the rich man's safe, and inside was over $10 million in cash. But what they didn't know was that Annie had been listening in on their conversation, using her sound amplification feature. She deliberately knocked over a chair, grabbed a knife from under the table, and freed herself from her restraints. She even swiped Jack's phone on her way out. Now, with Jack's phone in hand, Annie could unlock the robot control program and instantly boost her intelligence to the max. It was time for her to turn the tables and give Jack a taste of his own medicine. A perfect revenge, a flawless plan, all in a day's work for a robot girlfriend.